Before ultralight gear took over the outdoor world, before reflective foils and polymer sheets became standard in every survival kit, soldiers depended on something far more primitive, but far more reliable. It wasn't sleek, it wasn't lightweight, and it certainly wasn't fashionable. Yet this old material consistently outperformed many of the high-tech tarps you'll find in stores today. Modern gear is optimized for convenience, not for the kind of brutal, unrelenting punishment that real survival situations demand. But the soldiers of World War II carried a piece of equipment that answered a much more serious question. When everything goes wrong, will this hold up? And year after year, the same answer came back yes. At the center of this forgotten survival wisdom is the World War II shelter half, a simple, rugged square of treated canvas. Nearly every army used some version of it. Two soldiers could button their halves together to form a tent. Four could assemble a larger command shelter. One could fold his into a stretcher, a poncho, a windbreak, or a waterproof ground sheet. It wasn't merely a tar pit, it was a modular survival system designed to be adapted, abused, repaired, and used in 100 different ways. The material itself, tightly woven cotton infused with oils and waxes, became incredibly effective in harsh environments. The fibers swelled when wet, sealing gaps naturally. The wax softened under sun or firelight, making the sheet more waterproof the longer it was used. Modern tarps, lightweight and impressive as they are, fail in places canvas thrives. Nylon tears quickly, and once a rip forms, it travels rapidly through the weave. Dyneema is strong but hates abrasion, and it melts instantly when exposed to heat or sparks. Polyester stretches and degrades under UV exposure. By comparison, canvas is nearly immune to wind-driven abrasion. Sparks from a fire barely leave a mark. A tear stops the moment it starts because the fibers lock themselves together. And unlike synthetics, which slowly degrade under sunlight, canvas actually improves with each layer of wax absorbed over time. It becomes more weather-resistant and more durable through continual use in thing. Almost no modern material can claim. But the real secret behind World War II canvas isn't just durability, it's the mindset soldiers carried with them. Modern gear encourages replacement. If your tarp rips, companies expect you to buy a new one. Everything is disposable. But during the war, nothing was designed with replacement in mind. Soldiers were taught and expected to repair their gear in the field. Every shelter half came with extra buttons, heavy thread, a needle, and sometimes a small tin of wax. When a tear formed, the soldier sewed it immediately, reinforced it, sealed it with wax, and moved on. Over time, the patched areas often became the strongest sections of the entire sheet. This philosophy turned canvas into a long-term asset rather than a short-lived accessory. If you bring this mindset into modern survival, everything changes. A single canvas tarp becomes a lifelong companion instead of something you throw away every few seasons. The more it's repaired, the better it becomes. A patched tarp stops being just a toolet, becomes a personal piece of equipment shaped by your experiences, strengthened by your hands, and made unique by every repair you've ever done. Modern ultralight gear has its place, but it will never develop this kind of relationship with its user because it simply doesn't last long enough to. Using waxed canvas today doesn't mean abandoning modern materials. It means understanding the strengths of each. Canvas is unbeatable for base camps, long-term shelters, and off-grid living because it handles abrasion, fire, moisture, and long-term exposure far better than synthetics. It works exceptionally well as a ground sheet, a fire mat, a workstation, or a heavy-duty cover. It's breathable, so it reduces condensation and frost buildup inside shelters, an area where modern tarps struggle. In cold weather, canvas outperforms synthetics dramatically because it insulates better and allows moisture to escape rather than trapping it. Pairing canvas with modern tarps creates an incredibly effective hybrid shelter. The synthetic tarp provides lightweight coverage, while the canvas layer next to the fire offers strength, durability, and spark resistance. This dual setup mirrors what many World War II soldiers did instinctively, combining mobility with reliability. And because canvas can be repaired indefinitely using nothing more than a needle, thread, and beeswax, it becomes a system that grows stronger, more weathered, and more dependable the longer you use it. World War II soldiers understood something that modern outdoor enthusiasts often forget. Equipment is not about convenience, it's about trust. Their shelter halves traveled across continents through swamps, deserts, and blizzards. They were dragged through mud, frozen solid, scorched by sun, and constantly exposed to weather conditions that would destroy modern ultralight gear within weeks. These soldiers didn't care about brand names, weight ratings, or fancy coatings. They cared about whether their gear would work when their lives depended on it, and canvas proved itself over and over again. This isn't nostalgia. It's a reminder that many old technologies solved problems with a depth and ruggedness that modern designs simply don't prioritize. We've traded longevity for convenience. We've traded repairability for disposability. And in doing so, we've forgotten an entire category of gear that was built not for comfort but for survival. The shelter half and waxed canvas more broadly represent a philosophy of self-reliance that today's equipment rarely encourages. If you want to strengthen your kit, start by adding one piece of waxed canvas. Learn how to repair it. Learn how it behaves in rain, snow, fire, and long-term exposure. Notice how it changes over time, becoming more weatherproof with every use. Notice how a single patch transforms a weak spot into a reinforced area. And most of all, notice how freeing it feels to carry a piece of equipment that doesn't need to be babied. Equipment that will still work 20 years from now, long after your modern tarps have been replaced multiple times. The soldiers who carried these canvas sheets weren't trying to look tactical or ultralight. They were trying to stay alive. And the equipment they used didn't just survive the war, it survived decades of storage and still works today. That alone tells you everything you need to know about the value of this forgotten material. If you found this exploration into wartime gear, lost survival knowledge, and practical fieldcraft useful, consider subscribing to Forgotten Survival and sharing this video. Keeping these old skills alive matters, because the best survival tools are not always the newest ones. They're the ones that stood the test of time.